Coming up this week on The High Road with Keith Warren.
I got my trophy.
There you go. He just chased him. Look at him.
This program is dedicated to the brave men and women of the United States military, past, present, and future. May God bless America. This is The High Road with Keith Warren. We are on a mission to unite all sportsmen.
Springtime in Texas before it gets really, really hot. This is the middle of April, and I'm on a shed hunt about an hour due east of San Antonio on the Texas Hidden Springs Ranch. This place belongs to me and my family, and it's special to us, just like anybody's piece of property is special to them. But what we've done, we bought this place for many reasons, but primarily the number one reason is so we would have a place so our family could hunt. We started selling some hunts, okay? We started selling a few hunts, and now it's got to the point that we're selling more and more hunts. Our carrying capacity, because we're supplemental feeding, is actually improved. We can carry more deer here than we did prior to supplemental feeding for doggone sure, and they're all healthier. And so with the increased numbers of animals, we have to harvest more animals, so we have opened it up to hunting. Now, a lot of the times these hunters will come out, and we have video guys, and they'll be out here guiding, and a lot of times they'll wind up just videotaping the hunters that come out here. A lot of people will wind up saying, well, what's your buck to doe ratio? Our buck to doe ratio, listen up, $6 for every doe. Oh, you gotta be kidding. No, it's $6 for every doe. And people may be freaking out about that because on a lot of places you hear good buck to doe ratio is 1-to-1, 1 buck for every doe. And that is a good buck to doe ratio. So why in the world would I want $6 for every doe? The reason why is because, number one, I want my hunters to come out here to see a lot of deer. Okay, but a deer doesn't become mature until he's 5.5 years old. And what I wanted for those $6 for every one doe, I wanted out of those $6, I wanted 1 buck that was 5.5, 1 4.5, 1 3.5, 2.5, 1.5, and one that was a fawn. So I wanted one in every single age class, and that's the reason why we have it 6-to-1. We want to make a decision. We only carry the number of does, and this is important. We only carry the number of does that will provide the number of bucks that we want 5 years down the road. Every one of our hunters is guided, whether they're hunting for a management deer or whether they're hunting for a big trophy buck. And the reason why, we want to make sure that when they lay the hammer down, that they're laying the hammer down on a deer that's in their category. You know, we'll have a lot of trophy hunters that'll wind up coming out, and all of a sudden a big old management buck will walk out and they say, oh man, I want to smoke him. It's like, no, hold off. But that's the biggest deer I've ever seen. No, hold off. There's bigger ones out here than that. And so we send guides with the hunters just to make sure that we give them the best value they can get. We want them to go home with a deer they're gonna be happy with. I mentioned earlier that a buck to doe ratio is $6 for every one doe, and you may be thinking that's crazy, but that's just what we do, and it works for us. And a lot of people say, well, how's the rut? The rut's pretty good. I mean, the rut's real aggressive. I mean, we've got a lot of activity and bucks chasing does everywhere. I mean, it's nothing to see a doe come out on the field and 8, 10, 15, 20 bucks chasing her. So the rut is awesome. Typically, the rut takes place in late October. And what we'll have in November, about 28 days after the first rut, we have the younger does start coming in, so that's what we call the second rut. There's no doubt in my mind that our supplemental feeding program with Record Rack has been a major factor in our management program's success. And we'll be telling you more about our management program later in the show.
The High Road with Keith Warren, brought to you in part by Savage Arms, Diamond Archery, Record Rack Deer Feeds, Bad Boy Multi-Terrain Vehicles and Bad Boy Mowers, and new supercharged scent killer by Wildlife Research Center, Beyond 99%. Join the High Road online at keithwarren.net.
So if you're going to improve your deer's health nutritionally, what are you going to do? You're going to open up a magazine, you're going to look through there and you see all kinds of different feed. You're going to go to the feed store and they're going to try to sell you this, this, and that. And how do you determine what's best? Well, what I wound up doing, I'm in the outdoor media business and I question everything. And so I look at these ads and anybody can put a picture of a big deer up there and I just question it. So what I wound up doing, I wanted my deer to tell me what feed they like the best, because it could be the healthiest thing in the world. If deer wouldn't eat it, it wasn't going to do them any good. I wanted my deer to consume this supplemental nutrition that I was going to provide. So I did a test and I poured all different kinds of feed on the ground, and I left, came back the next day, and I'd watch. I would observe what the deer were eating and, more importantly, what they were not eating. And the thing that they were eating consistently was a record rack. I had made a decision I was going to feed record rack. It was just I was letting the deer make that decision for me. Well, consistently, they ate the record rack. So I made a decision, okay, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to start feeding it just like Dr. Kroll told me to. He said, just get out there and feed, and let the deer consume 24/7, as much as they want. And what happened is the deer got big. They got really big, to the point that I was even shocked. And I remember when we first started out, Dr. Kroll says, well, do you have any data? And that was a real key thing. And what he meant by that was, did you have any data as far as weight of deer, age of deer? And there was nothing on this place. So we had no record. So we had to start with something. So we started keeping the age, weight of every single deer, the condition, overall body condition of every single deer. And what happened from year 1 to year 2, after I started feeding record rack, the deer, now I know you're going to find this hard to believe, the deer took, now all we harvested was does. I want to make sure you understand that. The does took a 21% increase in body size. And the only thing that we did was just give them record rack. So why didn't we shoot any bucks? The answer is simple, because we didn't have very many, and the ones we had were little bitty guys. We wanted to give them the right nutrition and give them some age. So we decided that we made this decision, if our does took a 21% jump in body size, the bucks had to do the same thing. It had to improve their nutritional plane. So we waited several years to let the bucks get some age on them before we started harvesting any bucks at all. But we were hammering the does, and we were writing down all kinds of data. And the data, every year we were noticing our body weights were going up and up every single year. Our antler sizes were going up on the bucks every single year. And the only thing that we could attribute it to was the record rack deer feed. We have a special permit from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department that allows us to start hunting out here the first part of October. And the weather in October, if I had to say one word to describe it, it's unpredictable. You know, the weather in October can be 80 one day and then 50 the next day. That's one thing we can't control, is the weather. When hunters call to book, they ask, well, kind of what should they bring? And we've got a list that we'll send them. But when it comes to weather, what they can expect is just unpredictable. So the one thing that we found out, though, is we've had the place long enough that regardless of whatever the weather is doing at the time, we pretty much know how to pattern the deer. On this hunt now, it's October, and we're going to join up with Braxton Ladner. Now, Braxton's been with us, he's been with us many, many years coming back. And he's made a decision. He wants to go on one of our combo hunts. Well, that means that he'll be hunting for 2 bucks. Both of them have to be at least 3.5 years old. So on a combo hunt, you get 1 management buck and 1 trophy buck.
There are some serious mature deer out here this year. Been watching these deer grow up for the last 3 years, 4 years. And now they're getting to that point.
So we waited and we waited. Sure enough, we got enough light and found a beautiful wide 8-point.
Yep, that's the one. How far do you think he is? About 40, 50 yards. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Look at this. 4 years I've been hunting this Hidden Springs Ranch, and this is probably the best 8-point I've ever shot. Look at this deer, and this was just by chance. I happened to get another hunt, be able to book another hunt. Somebody canceled. Why they want to cancel at the Hidden Springs Ranch, I don't know. Like I said, I've been out here, I think this is my fourth or fifth year, and I've watched these deer mature and grow And this ain't even the big boys. The big boys are 150s, 160s, 170s. That's what we get to do this afternoon, bud. We're gonna go do that this afternoon. We're gonna get us a big hoss. Look at this thing though.
We're hunting for nothing but the big boys now. Let's get him cleaned up and get started.
Good idea.
It's time for viewer feedback, brought to you by Bad Boy Multi-Terrain Vehicles and Bad Boy Mowers.
Tom Lindsay says, Keith, I really enjoy watching your show every week. I've been watching for several years, and I'd like to know why you don't talk more about the caliber gun that you use on that particular hunt and why you choose it. He'd really appreciate all the suggestions that I have. It would help beginners and even experienced hunters that may have not tried the calibers that I prefer. I shoot a Savage rifle, and I shoot in a 270 caliber. And the reason why is because that's what I have confidence in. I can hunt everything from coyote-sized critters all the way up to elk. 270 doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, and I can find ammunition just about anywhere. My three favorite calibers that I recommend to people are a 243, a 30-06, and a 270. And the reason why is because you can find ammo at any Walmart. You can find ammo anywhere, where if you shoot some of these Wildcat calibers, if you need some ammo, you may be out of luck. But that's a great, great email.
Our website address will be coming up at the end of the show. The High Road with Keith Warren, brought to you in part by Glock, Reconyx Game Cameras, Chaffee Pasture in a Bag, Valley View Whitetails, Shadow Hunter Blinds, and Burt Coyote's Luminoc. All High Road programs are available on demand for free 24/7 at keithwarren.net.
We do a little bit of archery hunting, but not a lot. These deer are really, really smart. Even though that we're in a high fence, you may think, oh, they're not that smart. Well, come on down here and show me how not smart they are. But our rifle shots are, 100, 150 yards tops. We don't have, we got a lot of heavy cover for the deer, and we don't have a lot of open spaces, so the deer have plenty of area to get away and hide. But our typical rifle shots are going to be 150 yards and less. And when people show up, the one thing we want to make sure that they know how to shoot, and that may sound ridiculous, but we want to make sure they know how to shoot. So regardless of age or length of time hunting, we're going to take you and let you shoot so we can see you shoot.
So we're gonna sight this in, make sure it's still sighted in. This is one of Keith's policies on his ranch. So I agree with that, because no matter what you think you did yesterday, something could have changed this rifle today. Like Keith hitting it with the camera. This is still on what I was shooting yesterday. About 9:30, quarter of an inch to the left of the bullseye. This time, let's go get in the blind, Keith.
And we're going to be joining up with Braxton Ladner, and he's about to take the biggest buck of his life.
Second deer that walked out was a deer that I wanted to shoot. I came here with the intention of getting a good trophy buck, and that was the deer.
These are some of the biggest deer I've ever seen in the state of Texas. I told you, we're coming to a good spot today. Got a split brow tine. He's got some mass to him too. That's the best deer I've ever seen out here. We call him Rogue here. Because when we first saw him as a 2-year-old, 2 or 3-year-old, a few years back, his ear just flopped over. So we just nicknamed him Rogue here, and he's stayed on the way ever since.
Took about another 10 to 12 minutes for that deer to get in position for us, and I was getting pretty excited. I was getting pretty anxious, and the guide was telling me, just take a deep breath, take a deep breath. I was really excited. It was the best deer I'd ever seen. All of a sudden, there's another doe right off to our right that starts blowing at us. So I looked over there and saw her, and the rest of the deer that were in front of us, they were watching her, but they didn't seem real excited. They kept grazing and eating and stuff like that. Then a buck walks in front of the deer that I was trying to shoot, and I'm getting very frustrated and very anxious, and my guide says, just calm down, take a couple of deep breaths, and it was a good thing that he did that. I was pretty excited. This is the biggest buck I'd ever seen and had an opportunity to shoot. I was getting pretty excited.
Get his head up.
You're all right, go ahead. Good hit, Brax. Good job, buddy.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good job.
Yes, yes, yes. He's down, he's down, he's down, he's down, he's down. Yeah, baby. I got my trophy.
Dadgum, I'm shaking again inside. This has been so much fun hunting this Texas Hidden Springs Ranch over the years. And I've gotten good deer off of this ranch every year, but I gotta tell you, this is the best. Undoubtedly the best that I've ever gotten. Look at this, look. Good shot, right to the shoulder. Excellent animal. And broke ear. I want to mount this deer just like this. His namesake, broke ear. Put a plaque underneath him that says broke ear. Look how big these bases are. I can't even get my, there, I got that one around that one. I can't get my, barely touch my fingers around this one. Whoa. Yes, 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 yes. I got it.
The High Road with Keith Warren, brought to you in part by Oilfield Camo, iHuntAmerica.com, BSA Optics, Gamo Air Guns, and Jardin Consumer Solutions, makers of the Game Saver. Keep up with Keith as he continues on the high road and become eligible to win some great prizes by becoming a fan on our Facebook page.
We get a lot of non-resident hunters coming here, and I like that. I like people coming from outside of Texas because they can come here and see a good example of what game management is all about. And they can see that, in my opinion, I think Texas ranches are light years ahead of the rest of the country when it comes to game management, and the deer speak for themselves. I mean, take a look at them. You know, the deal is that sometimes hunting can be really, really tough, and when the acorns are falling off these oak trees, they're falling by the millions, and the deer gorge themselves on it, and they're really tough to see. But at times, those deer will come out and gorge themselves right out in the wide open. And when the big buck exposes himself, sometimes he's not alone, and that's going to be the case on this next hunt, where he joined up with Greg Dent. Greg's from South Carolina. This is his first Texas hunting trip. He's going to find out that when you have too many deer, it can be a problem getting a shot.
Some other deer in the mix there. Just got another doe right behind him and a little buck. He can't shoot yet. Just gotta sit and wait, let him clear out. Still got deer behind him, so just keep waiting. When he clears out real good, Greg, I'll grunt at him and make him raise up. Just be patient. They're gonna be there a while. He needs to turn sideways. Just let him turn broadside, nice and calm. Just relax. Everything's good. Take some deep breaths. Be cool. Don't move. Nice deep breath. Just relax, dear. We're okay. Let them go back to eating. There we go. Okay, you got a deer behind him now. Gotta let that other deer clear. Stay patient. Stay patient. Just looking around at the other deer. That other deer sees something back here in the woods. He likes to move around. Oh, now you got a dog coming back out there with you. Just be cool. Walk on by, doe. Need that other deer to take a couple more steps. shot, Greg. Good shot, brother.
This is my first Texas whitetail, and I can't wait to go lay my hands on him. He is huge.
No ground shrinkage on this one, no. It's so much bigger than South Carolina. This is my first Texas whitetail. This is just one of the huge trophy bucks on Hidden Springs Ranch here in Texas. Since we've been here, we've been treated great, and we're about ready to have a big dinner tonight and celebrate this buck, and everybody here's been first class. I really appreciate it.
If you'd like more information about the hunting out here at the Texas Hidden Springs Ranch, log on to our website. It'll answer just about any question that you've got. If you'd like to book a hunt, you can call me at 830-629-HUNT. And if you'd like to just log on to our website and watch our wildlife cameras and just see how well the wildlife management program is doing out here, we'd love for you to take a look at it. Let us know what you think. I'm Keith Warren. I appreciate you watching. And always remember, take the high road. I'm a believer that most Americans think that the abundant wildlife that we've been so blessed with just simply appears. Wildlife happens because of you, and me, and the millions of others like us that are passionate about preserving our natural resources. Some people think that wildlife would be fine without hunting, but it's us, it's you, your family, your friends, and all the sportsmen who are responsible for wildlife. The way I see it, it's our job to spread the word. I'm Keith Warren, and I'll see you next week, and always remember to take the high road.
If you have a question, comment, or story you'd like to see on the high road, let us hear from you online at keithwarren.net. Closed captioning is brought to you by new Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center. Beyond 99%.